Hey everybody, it's Shutterstar and Crystal here for another review of Supergirl. This time it's The Faithful.
So it's all about a cult.
Yeah, it's all about cult, religion, belief and all that stuff, the good, the bad and the everything. So, turns out there's a cult of Supergirl now.
Yeah.
I don't know, because some guy was on the plane from the very first episode. I like the fact that when they show that scene, they don't do a thing where it says 2 years ago or whatever. They just let it play out. And so at first you don't realise, oh, it's that scene.
Yeah, you might think it's just some other plane she's gonna save.
Yeah, until you see Alex and then you see out the window. Yeah, but I like that. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. This episode tackled religion in a very interesting way, like good and bad. Obviously, you've got extreme versions that result in terrorism, like our villain, if you can call him that.
Yeah.
Then you've got interesting versions, because James actually gives a good version to where he was saved by Superman. But then you've also got a bit which, I don't know if this really counts, because sadly it's a deleted scene.
Oh yeah, that is actually one of my favourite examples, like you were going to say, is, yeah, you have Jean's father, who still believes, and Jean talks about how he doesn't believe in their God anymore because of the crap he's seen in life.
Yeah, that's the thing. Okay, sadly it's a deleted scene, although you do see at the very end when everyone's kind of doing little...
Yeah, because he's trying to convince him to join him when he prays, and in the end he does join him.
Yeah, at the end there's a montage with everyone praying, and you see Jean with his father, who, by the way, had no appearance in this episode other than that scene. But there was a deleted scene where he's talking about praying, and then he's talking about how he doesn't believe in the Martian God anymore because of all the atrocities that have happened, and and obviously it's comparable to other people who have given up their religion because of horrible things in real life.
Oh yeah, like when I read a book about the Holocaust, like not just about it, but written from the point of view of someone, like, based on a true story, the guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, one of the things that we talked about at school when we talked about that book was that people were losing their religion. Some people tried to stay true to it and say this is God's plan for us or whatever, but some would lose it because they're like, well, why would God do this to us,
Yeah, so I really like that sadly deleted scene. I'm just trying to think of moments you could have trimmed down in the episode, because that really should have been in the episode.
Yeah.
Such a good scene. Speaking of great scenes, I have to give to one of my favourite Alex moments in the whole series. That scene at the end after Ruby's song, which, by the way, Ruby singing was great.
Oh, yes.
That was great too, but then obviously the scene that follows with Alex is really good. Like I said, I've already been complimenting this plot line with Alex this season. Some people didn't like what's going to happen with Alex and Maggie, but like I said, I really like the way they took it. And I really like that it's such a, a conundrum that you really don't see in shows enough.
Well, yeah, because it's something you can't compromise on. Either you have kids or you don't.
Exactly, and like we said, if Maggie really doesn't want to have kids, then Alex has to make a choice. But yeah, that was such a good scene.
Yeah, I know. At first I thought it wouldn't be that interesting to me because I myself don't want kids, so I can't literally understand Alex's thought process. But I don't know, she just explains it in a way like, yeah,
exactly.
It's just something she needs in her life. And while I can't firsthand experience that feeling, it's powerful to watch.
Exactly, and it's a good way because it gives both, because, there's no wrong side. You can't blame Maggie, but you can't blame Alex either.
Yeah.
I love that scene. It's one of the best scenes for Alex and a really underrated scene that didn't get talked about enough. That's the thing. I remembered this episode, but I didn't remember a lot of, I remembered this episode. I remembered, okay, it's the guy with the cold.
Yeah.
And, that was all right. It's all the little bits around it, everything involving, Sam's plot. Also the scene where, Sam and Lena had a conversation as well, because obviously, Sam and Ruby had been doing stuff, not doing stuff all day and all that, yeah.
Yeah.
So, they had good scenes. All the best scenes were not truly connected to the plot. Well, I suppose or if they weren't directly connected because they were in the theme of religion, but not the actual plot with the guy.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, I didn't hate the guy or the plot or anything, but obviously the best scenes were all the surrounding stuff, which really elevates this episode more than I was expecting.
Yeah. But yeah, the main plot itself, it was okay, but then there were times he kind of took it too far.
Well, that's the point. Yeah.
Yeah.
At first you think, okay, it kind of makes sense you'd have view Supergirl as a god. Like they said, she is real. She does save people. But he then starts to take it to an extreme like a cult, where he's encouraging people to go put themselves in harm's way, or committing terrorist acts where he's hoping they'll be stopped.
Yeah.
Yeah, this episode also had a few cliffhangers. It had a cliffhanger.
Wait, but did he know or did he not know that there was kryptonite in it?
That I don't think he did.
Okay.
Because remember, this is like a pod, like we send out probes, and they obviously had kryptonite soil, which, he didn't realize it was in there.
Oh, yeah.
I'd like to assume he didn't, because he was shocked when she started getting hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
And then most of the people just ran off because they're like, nope, she's no god.
Yeah, I know.
But the thing is, at that point, from their perspective, I would have thought, okay, she's not God. She's more like Jesus, I would say, because she'd be like a child of Rao in a way.
I guess.
I mean, assuming he's real, Jesus was like in a human body, so he would have bleed. He'd bleed, right?
Well, obviously he bled. He died.
Yeah, exactly. So she can still be...
What do you mean he bled? We just had a whole plotline in season 2 which you need the blood of Christ.
Exactly. So, yeah, Jesus himself wasn't all-powerful. So it would have made more sense if they viewed her as an equivalent to Jesus.
This raises so many questions. So, okay, so we're to assume that there really, because of legends, we're to assume that on Earth 1 there really is a God because there really is a Jesus. Is that the case on Earth 38? And by that logic, then wouldn't that mean that Supergirl's God isn't real? Yeah, there can only be one.
I mean,
some
religions have multiple gods.
I do like the fact that throughout, we've got multiple stuff, like you've got the Martian God and you've got the Kryptonian gods, but I don't believe there's ever been a point where it completely solidifies if any of them exist, which I like. They're just sort of the equivalents of gods we have here, where, there's
Well, actually, though, but in the episode we saw with Jean's father, and they were trying to get this thing, and wasn't that thing, like, tied into two Martian gods or something named after the moons?
Yeah, but we don't know. Okay, we know it. Yeah, but that doesn't mean it came from it. It's not like the Spear of Destiny where it was literally connected, though.
Okay, yeah.
It could just be an artifact, and they just connected it to their story. We don't know.
Good point.
But then again, if the Martian gods are real, that raises even more questions. It's like, they can't all be real.
Why not?
Okay, okay, if you believe... Okay, if the Martian god is real, then the gods most people believe here on Earth can't be real, because, people believe he's the one who created everything. Why would he create a Martian and Kryptonian god? Did he create all these aliens? Anyway, we're getting off track, but the episode started it.
Yeah.
The episode also had quite a few cliffhangers. Once again, had another cliffhanger, another thing leading into the mystery of what's going on with Sam.
Yeah.
Because then you see some Kryptonian people in a cloak, and then she's got markings on her face, and then all that stuff happens.
Yeah.
And then we've got a cliffhanger with when the bomb thing fell into the Earth, it blew up. Well, it didn't blow up the ship, but there was if you remember the first episode, when the submarine attacked, you saw a ship underwater, and it didn't show us anything. I forgot to mention that. And here it is again. But this time, the ship appears to be waking up and there's pods there.
Yeah, and there's someone in there.
But the question is, do you know anything about what's with this ship?
I mean, I know some stuff about Sam, but not quite everything, I'd say.
Interesting.
But most.
Interesting. Well, we'll have to figure out what that ship is, and if...
We'll find out how much I know when stuff happens, and I'll tell you what parts surprised me, what parts I knew.
That's true. It'll be interesting to see what stuff's connected and what stuff isn't.
Yeah.
But like I said, I surprisingly enjoyed this. Although it is tricky to kind of rate it up for one of the scenes because it's a deleted scene, but who cares? I'm going to give it a surprisingly 8.5.
Yeah, I'll go 8.
This was surprisingly better than I remembered. because you just actually tackled religion in a very well balanced way.
Yeah, exactly. Even though we ourselves don't believe in religion, they present it in such a way that it's still powerful.
And it gives every side good views.
Similar to how I myself don't want kids, but the way Alex's scene was presented was that good.
Oh man, that was a great scene.
Yeah.
Anyway, what is the next episode called?
Damage.
I have no idea what happens next episode. I really don't.
We'll find out.
We will find out. And we'll see you next time for more Supergirl and other things as well. See you next time, guys.